Well, that was an amazing trip home for 6 weeks. Bit short, really. Next year we're going to go for at least 2 months. Returning to the Mediterranean, we went on Air New Zealand to San Francisco, British Airways across the Atlantic into London, and then on EasyJet and Tunisia down to Monastir. There I am checking in for our journey back at Wellington Airport, and second time only in my life on an A380 British Airways. What an amazing aeroplane. I mean, I flew the Jumbo, but this thing is massive compared to the Jumbo. Here we are just lining up on 28 left at San Francisco Airport, about to take off, turn back overhead the airfield, and then fly across North America before crossing the Atlantic. They're exactly the flights I used to do, only out of LA, where I just looked down on all those ports along the way thinking, wow, I wonder what they're like, and I'd love to go there one day. So it kind of added to the dream, really, and that in many respects is why we're doing it. Anyway, back home it was fantastic to catch up, obviously, with the family, with some friends, but man, we were pretty busy with Blossom Valley. So here we are, on our way, not long, and we're back with Awanui NZ.
Oh.
What does it say?
Captain Remmel, Awanui NZ, established 2024.
Hopefully it will fit a beer.
It will.
Of course it will fit a beer.
It said it was a pint.
Oh, it won't do it.
Yeah. I think it should.
Thank
but
you, Luna.
there's two, because you will break one.
True. You get them both engraved.
Yeah. They both say the same thing.
Oh, that's neat.
It was so nice coming through London and catching up with Renee. She gave me my birthday present, 2 beautiful beer glasses, and then we met great friends from New Zealand, Paul and Glenys. We had a whole day in Nice together, off into town, then to Tunisia. Well, here we are, back in Monastir, Awanui NZ, sitting there nice and happy. Morning, Glenys.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
Cool.
Very well.
Merchant flag flying nice and proudly there on the stern, and by all accounts she looks like she's in really good nick. So we have a visitor beside us that wasn't there when we left, and obviously the boat's quite close in at the bow there, and a couple of big lines right in front of us, so we'll have to work with that with the mariners to get off. But yeah, anyway, here we are back in Tunisia. This guy, I think, was having a punch up last night. He spent a lot of the night screeching and yelling. Good morning, pussycat. Anyway, he looks a lot more friendly this morning. Back on with the adventure. Okay, so one of the first jobs we've got to do before we head off is obviously take everything out of the lazarette that we'd packed in here while we're away. And I've also got to reconnect the water maker, because we had the water maker shut down and had put the chemical through it, if you remember, so that we wouldn't get any nasties forming while we're away. Now, look at that, everybody. A hose clip, and look at that. A 7mm socket. So I did listen to you all. I took your advice, and I'm going to tighten everything up with my 7mm socket, not a screwdriver. Oh, that is so much easier. Oh my goodness. Why am I only doing this now? Wow. Okay, so it's the water maker recommissioned. Now we're just going to get in and do the modification to the solar. So you see the blue solar charge controller 100 by 50 there right in front of us. And now coming out of that with the red end on it and the black cable beside it is the 16mm marine tinned cable going into the controller. You can see just beside it there how much smaller the 6mm is that I've removed. 16mm then heads off out of the controller and over the back here through the wall between the engine room and the lazarette, and then one cable goes into the 24 volt DC bus, and before it gets there it goes through this fuse box which you saw back in New Zealand. There it is there, all installed with the fuse in the middle of it. And then the other 16mm cable just going across the exhaust manifold there heads across here to the negative bus, which is there. So with all that connected up, we were able to turn the switch back on, which connects then the solar panels through the controller and into the 24 volt DC bus. And I can report that we now have very, very good amperage going through from the solar panels. It's all working okay. So my next job is to tidy this mess up and get it all cable clipped into the ceiling of the engine room. Another job complete. Okay, so we've had a very successful day. We have got the solar running. I'll show you what we've done there. And what was the other thing we did?
Got the water maker going.
Oh, the water maker. So we got the water maker all connected up again and got rid of the airlock. So we can make water because we found the potable water here is not suitable for drinking. We've gone off and done shopping of sorts, but I wouldn't say the shopping was hugely successful. We got rosé wine, white wine, so everybody's happy. And we've checked the weather, and nothing more than 0.5 of a metre and more than about 10 or 12 knots. So we reckon we're a go for departure tonight for Trapani in Sicily. So Paul and I are now off to get the crew list updated. We come back and have a wee chat to the police. Then we go to customs. I get my drone back. We give each of them a bar of chocolate for good measure. And hopefully we're going to depart around 6:30 tonight, which gives us about an hour and a half of daylight. And it's 22 hours with a wee island off to the starboard side about halfway, which will be in the early morning. So plenty of options. Kind of goodbye Monastir, short but sweet.
You've got the chocolate, right?
I have got the chocolate. I've got the 3 bars in here. It's a long, slow process.
ماشي التراباني تراباني تفضل الرقم تاعك خلي السيد هذا بدون مسؤول نتفرج ندير له بورتابل وياخذ المخدم.
Right, so maintenance done and checked out with customs. Man, they wanted to get rid of us. They came and had an inspection. We gave them a bar of chocolate and they said, on your bike and now. Anyway, past that island halfway across the Mediterranean, and then we go to check into Trapani. Au revoir, Monastir. Au revoir. Both lines? Okay, and you'll look at the fender once we're going, eh? Okay, all the lines are off. Alright, so here we are in the morning after our all-nighter. We've all survived, which is a good thing. And we're coming up to the heavy traffic zone for east and westbound ships in the Mediterranean. So you can see them there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 targets, AIS and radar. We've recalibrated the radar, that's another story. And we'll just zoom in there, show you where we are. There is Sicily over here where we're going. Tunisia back here, you see we followed the coastline of Tunisia right through the night. And then the island of Pantelleria, which is our bolt hole if we needed it. And then right around where we are now, see, there are all the targets. So it's that gap there between Pantelleria and Sicily is really the only way through to the Middle East, the Suez, east coast of Italy, Croatia, Montenegro, Greece. So potentially a busy spot. But as always, once you actually get amongst it, there is plenty of room. No boats to be seen. Okay, so this is a really weird one. We're in Shadow Drive and we were perfectly aligned with the track, not that that matters because it should be happy to pick up a heading. And we deselect the autopilot, and normally we'll come up and gauge. So there we are with facing in the right direction. We've basically got no rudder. And we should be able to hit engage and get heading hold. But what do we get? We get Shadow Drive, and it just sits there even when we are perfectly aligned with the track or with a heading, when we're heading stable. So a bit confused there to say the least. Okay, so Trapani on the northwestern coast of, or very western tip of Sicily. Here it is out here, we'll show you. Quite mountainous as you can see. And the plan at this stage is to head in there. We're going to call them on channel 10, but coming in here, unfortunately we had a problem with our steering, and effectively we think something to do with the Shadow Drive on the autopilot, but we haven't confirmed that yet. But at one point we were unable to steer to starboard, so we're going around in circles to the port. We've turned the Shadow Drive off, and with the autopilot engaged and heading hold, it seems to be working perfectly well now, but only time is going to tell. There we are there. We've actually had the smoothest ride, but then at the same time of course the sea has settled down a bit. So yeah, it's hard to tell exactly what the cause might have been, but we will investigate for sure once we get there. We're just going to check and see once we take the autopilot out if we have steerage. Oh, there's an alarm going off, look. Fuel supply day tank full. It's gone off all night because we topped the tanks up so much in Monastir. So anyway, we're going to check the steering. I'm quite happy to go in or onto the wharf just using the throttles and bow thruster. It'd be kind of nice to know what state our steering's in before we do that regardless. So watch the space. Well, good morning. Here we are in Trapani. Missed a great opportunity yesterday and apologise for this. I've got to get myself back into being ready to film stuff. It would have been a great bit of footage. But about 2 hours out from here, we essentially completely lost our steering. And it looks like, without getting into too much detail, that there's a unit in the Shadow Drive system that's sending a false signal. And it's interfering with the steering hydraulics. So just a sort of simple description, we've got a high pro steering system at the two helm stations, and it sends an electronic signal to a power pack in the lazarette that then sends the hydraulic fluid to drive the rudders to either port or starboard. And what we found was that we could only go to port, so effectively we were going in circles. That's all we could do. We managed to get it going again, effectively just by continuing to turn the helm to starboard, and eventually we were able to get the boat going in a straight line. And once we did that, we just didn't go away from that straight line unless we absolutely had to get closer to Trapani. We've been having problems with the Garmin Autopilot, and it was obviously in the shadow drive system, so we went into the global settings on the Autopilot and disconnected the shadow drive, and then the Autopilot worked really well. We couldn't actually get it to engage prior to that. So once we got the Autopilot working really well, we carried on using the Autopilot and heading hold. We got to just outside Trapani. Here I'll show you the entrance to the harbour, just over there. And before coming in, we disconnected the Autopilot and had another go at steering, and again we could only go to port. We could not go to starboard at all. Here comes a beautiful sunrise in Sicily, Trapani on the west coast. Very, very nice. So we came in and we're now anchored just under a little castle. Oh, you can't quite see it. We'll show it to you at some stage. And we had to do that all on the Autopilot. So sorry we didn't get that on video, because obviously that would have been quite a dramatic moment that we could have caught. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on, but at the moment Awanui NZ is potentially stuck in Trapani, and we are going to have to put our thinking caps on and use some ingenuity to be able to get on our way, which obviously we want to do in fairly quick time. Okay, so here we are down in the lazarette, and that is the offending item. This bit here, that is the shadow drive unit, and that goes from the, well, it's in line with the Hi-Pro pump or power pack, and then that heads from here across to the valve system, and then obviously into these rams through here to effectively enable you to steer the boat while the Autopilot is engaged. And by taking that shadow drive piece of equipment out and replacing it with just a double-ended male nipple, in theory, according to the other boats that have been having this problem, the problem goes away. And the fascinating thing is that the guy I talked to last night on an N41 had exactly the problem that we had. The boat would only go to port, you couldn't steer to starboard. And it's interesting that each time the boat has lost control with the Autopilot in and effectively come out of heading hold, it's always been to the port, and it's been doing it for a long time. So I suspect we've had this fault for quite a time. So our job is going to be able to get that off, or get the nipple first, get the shadow drive off and the nipple in place and secure, and then to do a test. We're happy, we're on our way. Watch this space. How hard could that be in Italy? Paul with his Alpha hat on, always.
Well, I bought this hat because if I lose it, it doesn't hurt too much.
Oh,
What do you
cutting.
say if he loses it?
Doesn't matter too much. Poor Alpha. That's from a life member, sweetie.
In Scotland, I bought myself two caps, tweed caps,
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, how neat.
and expect a great but well, what compared to a free album?
Lots of little marinas here, isn't there? Right over there. There's a big boat in there. I don't know if it's on the hard stand or if it's in.
Oh, I think that's a ferry, yeah. So we're off to the Coast Guard, it looks like, or the Port Authority.
We are.
So we're going to see the Coast Guard first, or the Port Police, and they're going to do our passports.
We're feeling very
And then-
illegal at the moment.
And then the Port Authority wants me to go into the office for the ship's papers.
Nice.
And then we must leave here, they said. So then we want to go down the end there to the maintenance place, or we
We
drop
have
you
to
girls.
leave here. We're not allowed to
We're not
stay
allowed to
here,
leave
right.
the tender on there, on the wharf over there. So we will, you girls can probably go into town if you want to or whatever, but I want to go down to that maintenance place to see if I can get that valve.
We can leave the tender now, though?
No. Oh yeah, just to do what we have to, but not
Right.
to go and get a cup of coffee and
I
take
see,
it.
right.
Very complicated here in Trapani.
Had you
Very
took all your
complicated.
phone with you?
Yes.
Oh, God, they are. Jeez. So we are standing here waiting because the police arrived here. We gave them their things. They've gone in their police car. And then we are waiting here. We were told to wait, but we spotted a coffee place over there. So we sent the boys over for coffee. They've been away ages and now they have arrived back with no coffee. So this will be an interesting story. Okay.
Oh,
Do I look as though I'm walking about that far off the ground?
right. Oops. Okay, so no chocolate, no hot chocolate.
Oh, you've had a coffee over there.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to take them away.
Well, you can, but they're in a nice cup, so we thought it would be rude.
So you've stood there having a coffee, drinking a coffee.
That's what you do in Italy. You go to the bar and
I don't
if you
think,
want to walk over and have one.
We were ripped
I
off.
don't think that's the point she's making. I think the point is we didn't come back here with something.
I couldn't believe it took you that long, and then you walked back. I said they're walking back with nothing. They've got no
There's
cups,
a
no
lovely
nothing.
lady in there, and we practice our
More
Italian.
lovely than us.
Yeah, more lovely than
No,
us,
not
obviously.
at all,
That's
not at
right.
all.
Yes,
We
yeah.
practice our Italian.
Did you buy her a drink?
Certainly younger. Certainly younger.
Yeah. And the thing was,
Steady on, guys.
we got no to mochaccino, we got no to hot chocolate,
Yep.
and other than that, we did consider an Aperol for each of you.
Nothing to bring it back in.
They had nothing to bring it back in. You have to, it's a
If you want to
diner.
walk down and have a coffee while we wait for you,
No,
that would be
we're not taking the risk.
No.
To get arrested.
Anyway, then the bill came, and it was €3.50, and we decided to talk about whether we tipped them or not. And Paul said, "Well, it's up to you."
Yes,
and
I
of
did.
course,
That's
she
right,
very
yes.
cleverly gave you coins, which it was, you had to anyway. So in the end, it cost $3.50, and she got a €1.50 tip. So she did well.
Very good.
She
Very
was
good.
what? Muy bueno.
my boy.
Yeah, muy bueno. Yeah, I bet.
Yes, I
But it
think
was-
we've made an impression over
That was only $3.50 for two.
Yeah, I think very good.
Oh, that's very
For
good.
two.
Well, then €5 for
I know.
two is good too, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go. Here
Okay,
is-
so here that right. Money
here
back
is-
in the kitty.
Yeah,
Thank
money
you very
back
much.
in the kitty, and there's the
Receipt.
receipt. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I have just been sent by the Port Authority to buy 2 tax stickers, €16 each, which essentially allows us to cruise Italian waters. Why
2?
don't know, because I think they're €16 each and it's a fee of 32, and we didn't get charged that in Brindisi, but I have seen stuff on Navily saying there is that charge, so we were lucky probably. Anyway, so we are now at the Port Authority, filled out a whole lot of forms of course, and we're about to hopefully get our clearance to
So this is like
take the boat in Italy.
immigration for the boat, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is to do with the boat, not really us. We've just needed to put our names on the crew list.
okay. Campamari, Trapani, Awanui NZ, Channel 10. Awanui NZ vacating Coast Guard dock and proceeding to eastern end of harbour, boat services.
Okay, and what is your destination?
Down to the eastern end of the harbour to boat services marina.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I take it that's a yes. So we're coming to boat services, in the hope of finding the one part we need. And we've all decided we're feeling very lucky. That's a tender. Where we were in Greece, they had tenders tied up beside us or in front of us to super yachts that were almost as big as our boat. I think, what do you think about the sea yachts? I think it's a good little spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What could go wrong?
That looks like a tender anyway. It's just a big tender, isn't it?
Right, so we just had a lovely lunch in the old town, recommended to us by one of the marine shops, the Chandleries, where we went to try and get the nipple to fix the shadow drive, and we'll cancel that. There we go. I'm now going on Fiona's phone to find the place that has been recommended for us to go to get the nipple. The others are going to go and do a little bit of shopping, and once we get this back, we've actually got to take the shadow drive off, which sounds very simple from what I showed you earlier. There's actually a little bit to it by the looks of it. We've got to turn the hydraulics off, turn some circuit breakers off, get the right tools, get the shadow drive off, and then refit the nipple, and making sure, of course, we don't have any hydraulic leaks afterwards. So yeah, a little bit to do, but by all accounts from two shops we went to, two Chandleries, this is, look, we're going to take a right here, Miss Google says. This is the place to go to get what we need, and we're kind of stuck without it. So if we can't get it, then I'm thinking tomorrow we might have to hire a car, or at least find somewhere where maybe they have got it, hire a car, and then go and find it in Syracuse or Palermo, which is the capital of Sicily. Anyway, yep, just another day in Mark's life, keeping Awanui NZ going on the water.
Maschio, quindi come codice avesse essere 76 100 su 100. Ok, 76 100 dritto 14S. Allora, terminale dritto da 14S, noi 16G. Vabbè, quando vai a vedere, va bene, ok. Ciao.
So check this shop out, G de Gallo. They've got everything, and I got the bit I wanted, so let's take it home, fit it, and see if it leaks. Let's hope not. So I understand we have a situation.
Yes, you just handed me this, didn't you?
I did.
And I looked at it and I said, what have you done to my container? Could you cut it down to that? So this was one of my kitchen containers, and he thought it was something that food had arrived in, you know.
No, I thought it was when we went to the restaurant and there's stuff left over that they packed it in it.
No, because you'd find in that cupboard there's a lid that goes on top of here too now that's made
Well, it
redundant.
will still go on there.
No, it won't, because that is wider on the top. But, and this is not new, is it, Mark? You do this at home too, don't you?
Yeah, but anyway, I'm more interested in the fact that you said your heart was palpitating.
Yes, it gave me heart palpitations. But then I realised I said the wrong thing. It's heart.
Anyway.
What is it? Paul? A heart?
Palpitations.
Palpitation.
Palpitations. It's not, we're not palpitating.
And what are you using this for?
I'm putting hydraulic oil in it.
Well, I don't think it's going to work.
No,
now.
I'm going to put tape around that.
Oh, that's
all right.
why you were getting the tape out.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
there's nothing I can do about that now, is it?
Are we done?
We're done.
Okay, so the offending container is now going under there, because the concept is when we take this pipe off, there is possibly going to be some leaking hydraulic fluid. Pumps are depowered for both the autopilot and the high pro steering system. The autopilot in theory is cut off from this anyway, so anyway, we shall proceed to undo it. Okay, so there is the shadow drive unit, the offending item, but it has to stay here electrically collected, so we are going to zip tie it
onto the side of this hydraulic line, and then we can go about reinserting our new two-ended male nipple. So far so good, and very little hydraulic fluid, which is a good thing. Alright, there we have the shadow drive zip tied to another hydraulic line. It keeps that electrical connection in place, which we want to do. And then down here you can see we have attached one end of the male connector into the hydraulic line going into the manifold, and now we're just going to connect this other side here onto the other end. Alright, there is the double-ended male nipple joiner in the system, so in theory we should now be able to steer. And your fending plastic container basically has no hydraulic oil in it, so I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for me, but still. Fingers crossed, job's done. Next is to test it. Okay, so when we start it, those 6 switches down the bottom there.
Yes.
Go across, that's all the fuel pumps and valve controls.
Yes.
And then you'll see above them are 3 switches, 12 volt, 24 volt and miscellaneous.
Yep.
So they're the, when we're about to start, they're the 6 that go on.
Yep.
And then
9 that go on.
9, sorry. And then we normally put the engine blowers on. And I didn't realise it, but one of the big reasons for doing that is it sort of comes from petrol boats to, oh, you can go away. It kind of comes from petrol driven boats that you might have an accumulation of vapours in there, and then you get ignition.
Yeah.
So, but they reckon with diesel it's not so important. Yeah, so that's effectively all we do to get started, and then we do the usual
check your
diesel warm up.
Oh yes.
So those lights will go out when, there you go, that one's done.
Yep.
Could probably start just one, to be honest, but we might as well start both. Then I just check the oil pressure goes up.
Yep.
Oil pressure goes up.
Yep. Well, I would have thought that really all you need to do
is turn that.
I don't want
to.
Well, you go down the bottom because you want to see if there's any leak.
Yeah, I want to see if there's any leak in the end. But go on, you do it.
Yeah,
I don't want to touch the bloody thing.
And I'll just turn this.
Right, so we're going to try starboard first, just to see if. Right, so everything's on. Look at that. Well.
So why don't you pop down the bottom?
Oh, yeah. That is completely normal to my way of thinking. Alright, and then give me about 15 seconds and then...
Yep, I will.
Right, that is working perfectly, Mrs. R.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Please?
Yeah. Oh, very. Now we've just got to check that we haven't got a hydraulic leak. Now we're just going to check as to whether we've got a leak or not. Okay, can we do it again? Okay. Yep, no leak.
What's that?
No leak.
All good, no leak. Turn the engines off now?
Yep.
Yes, affirmative.
Just great to be back in Italy, the island of Sicily. We're just going to head out of Trapani to San Vito lo Capo, an absolutely gorgeous village on the northern coast of Sicily, and the weather magnificent.
Forward a little bit. Back the other bloody way.
What's that?
I wish you two would make your mind up and go back the other way. can't get good help, can we, Glennis?
You complain because I got your bat.
Trapani, this is Awanui NZ, Channel 10.
That was a good packet.
Is Awanui NZ at the anchorage under the castle. We are departing the harbour.
Or does that road have to be
Okay, so what is your destination?
Napoli.
Okay, so you can proceed to bye.
Bye. Just check our steering, see how we're going. We may be back yet, for all we know. That is going beautifully. That is so cool. Anchor drag, so we'll change alarms because we just don't care right now, do we?
I take it you have the handheld.
I bought it
I
out
do,
for
sweetie.
him.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for letting me know.
Oh, sorry. Are you saying that to Glennis or me?
To you, because you asked me to get it, then I didn't see
I
it there.
thought you'd ask Glennis to.
No, in my head, I had. In my head, but I haven't got it.
I didn't bother because I thought when she sees it's gone, she'll know he's got it.
That's right. Isn't this it?
No, you know what I thought? I
It's
thought
actually a nice town, isn't it?
it is. I thought, oh, it didn't come out of the grab bag, so I was looking in the grab bag.
You know what would be, Paul, I don't know what you think about this, but you know what would be lovely right now?
Cup of
Would be
tea.
a cup of coffee and a cup of tea on the fly bridge. What
Yeah,
do
it
you
would.
think?
I'm just doing this now.
Do you think that would be lovely?
And then I was going to go and do that.
Paul thinks that would be lovely too, sweetie.
How nice, Mark.
Well, that
Wow.
looks, sweetie. That is going, look, right rudder. It's going
Nice,
to the right
Marky. I'm
nicely.
so happy.
It's all perfect. Okay, so here we are departing Trapani, and the steering, port, round to starboard, it's actually operating, it feels to me smoother, but that may be an exaggeration. Once we get out in the open water, we'll try the autopilot. I don't want to try it here
You
in
want to
case
do the
it
rest of those ones?
decides it wants to do a turn.
I'll just go and get your coffees and everything now.
Oh, actually, I like white coffee would be lovely.
White coffee,
All surfaces.
Glennis, yes, and over this side as
I'll
well.
have another cup of tea, please.
Cup of tea.
And
Yeah.
Glennis's cup of tea, just wave the tea bag at it like you
I
do.
know that. I've
She's
made all mine
me a
already.
few.
But
Oh,
thank,
this
but
is
thank
full
you.
one.
But thank you for the instructions. That I don't know if that seems stupid, if it's just in our head,
What?
but that seems far smoother.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
The steering feels beautiful.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's only taken us 6 months.
It has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have checked the weather today and it is absolutely glorious. We're going to have a lovely ride out of Trapani, and you can see Trapani there, the harbour off to our starboard side. Went through the old town yesterday, it was very pleasant. Definitely cooler than when we left Italy 6 weeks ago, noticeably cooler. As you'd expect, but yeah, there's going to be a change of clothes at some stage. Anyway, we'll zoom out. Today we've just got 18.6 miles left to run. You can see it up on the top left of the screen there. Not going very far because the America's Cup starts today and we are going to be a part of it. We are going to watch every little detail. Okay, so there we're going to Capo San Vito. Lots of shipwrecks off the coast there. And a great anchorage by all accounts, and a little marina if we chose to go there. So 18.6 miles, we're just doing a little over 5 knots back to our 900 RPM, and yeah, expecting a really good trip out. There's a nice lighthouse, trying to get photos of lighthouses. Well, there's really no excuse, is
Look at
there?
all these ones coming along here too.
I know, and look, the line's out the back. Really, it's kind of up to us now, isn't it? Pleased to be back, Mrs. R.
It's lovely, Marky.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a lovely day, isn't it? Just gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, eh?
Oh yeah. It's just lovely. It's what it's all about. You get a good day like this. The only thing we're missing is a drink in our hands. But it might be a bit early for that.
You can still see Trapani there behind us, look. Very clearly, actually.
Yes.
Makes you realise how slowly you actually move.
Well, we are going slow, aren't we? We're just 5
knots.
but
Yeah.
that's because we wanted to take it all in.
Well, we're doing 5 knots, and we've literally more than halved the fuel flow
Oh, and it's
for
also
2 knots of speed.
It's also because you wanted to catch fish.
Okay, we're going to stop. We're stopping there. Thank you.
Rub it in.
We'll get back later.
What are you
doing? Why are you so quiet? It's not like you. Well, look out there. Look how beautiful that is. So, I've been putting off doing the drone, but the time has come. So, it's been sitting in its box for about 3 months now, and I can tell people are disappointed and they're ready for more drone footage.
Why has it been in the box for 3 months?
Because I crashed the other one, and I ideally wanted to spend some time on land with it, but I don't think that's going to happen, and I think we have to take control of the situation and just get on with it.
So what you're telling me is drowning the other ones knocked your confidence.
It did a little bit. Yeah, well, not confidence, I just, I mean, it was dumb. It was stupid what I did. It's just, it's time to move on.
So it was definitely volunteer.
Oh, it was, thank you, Paul. It was undoubtedly pilot error. There was absolutely no question whatsoever about that. Yeah, because the thing even warned me before I did what I did.
What, the actual drone?
Yes, it said, you're about to take off from a moving object. Do not do this.
It actually said that, and then you did it.
I did it.
I'm just learning about that now.
Yeah, I haven't confessed to that.
Oh my goodness, Marky.
Yeah,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely.
I know you didn't listen to it, but why did you continue going ahead with it?
Oh, because I had, by that stage, had a reasonable amount of experience with the drone and felt like I understood how it worked. And
Even though the drone was telling you otherwise.
yeah, but I knew where I was, and I thought, no, it's clear, it's okay, and it climbs to 12 feet very quickly from my observation, but clearly not quick enough, because the minute it got off the ground, the boat caught up with the drone, and we ended up with said drone crashing off the side of the boat.
Trying to swim after it.
It sunk. In fact, by the time I realised where it had gone, because I was looking everywhere else for it, by the time I recognised it was gone, it was gone, well and truly. Anyway.
It was such a sad time.
That's alright, these things happen. We have to work out how to get my controller to talk to that battery.
Excellent.
And drone. There you go. So Capo San Vito is where we're going into. Quite striking headland behind it. Amazing lighthouse at the entrance. And then back down the coastline there. It's beautiful. Still no fish though.
Not as warm as what it has been. This was take your breath away material.
Was it? Yeah, but how does it feel now?
Oh, like I won't be staying in that long, but it's not as bad as when I first got in.
Right.
But it is not.
But I mean, what a gorgeous spot.
Oh, it's a gorgeous spot.
Is that yours or are you the smaller one?
Let's have a look.
That's Mark.
That's mine.
I think mine's on charge.
Okay.
So it's going to be America's Cup, or swim, America's Cup, in the tender, off for the shopping, and then we're going to settle down here for the night. How wonderful is that?
Doing cordon bleu with roast veggies.
Nice.
And I'm just waiting for the men to get in
Look how clear the water
to
is.
share the water. There you go, Mark. The water is amazing.
And Cornish. Go Emirates Team New Zealand for the America's Cup, eh? Woohoo!
So there we have the cockpits of both boats and the helms along in there.
Just had a swim, but fresh. Now we can relax.
Been advised by
Oh, look, there he is doing one of those beautiful bowling knots again. Oh my God. Perfecto. Perfecto. You gonna leave your life jacket, buddy? One of the locals has just told us we're in San Vito Le Capo.
Nice, remember that.
San Vito Le Capo. And very striking place it is.
This must be packed in the summer, eh?
That'd be crazy. We're off to do the shopping, get rid of the rubbish. And the item that went on the list first was rosé wine for the girls. San Vito Le Capo. This looks cute. Very touristy, but at the same time, quaint. Big long street, restaurant marquees out the front. Very clever flax work. San Vito Le Capo. Okay, so that was really clever of me. I hate shopping. So I ditched the other three to do the shopping while I go and fill up the gasoline and get rid of the rubbish. Because there's not much more in the world I detest than walking around supermarkets trying to decide what to get. Anyway, we'll see if I made the good choice soon. Depending on where I find a rubbish bin, because I haven't seen one yet. I certainly haven't seen a petrol station. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so we're going well. I found a rubbish bin, got rid of the rubbish, and I asked a lovely young lady at the pizzeria for the gas station. She says, go to the end of this road, turn right, go to the bakery, turn left, go 2 blocks, turn right. I find the gas station. Not looking forward to this. Anyway, here we go. I think there's every chance I've been sent on a goose chase. Apparently there's a bakery up here. Looks like I'm going out into the rural area that I have to turn left at. I think she got a right and a left confused, because back there left went to Trapani and Palermo. You'd think a gas station would be on a main road to those towns, not up here. Anyway, I'll give it a few more minutes, then I'll bail. Thinking about it, we could probably fill up at the marina port. Never mind. Absolutely lit up the garden path. There ain't nothing up there. When she says right, she means left. So does that mean when I go left now and her next instruction was to turn left, do I turn right? And then she said go 2 blocks, then turn right. So do I turn left? I'm confused. Think this might be a failed mission. Yeah, I'll give it a go anyway. At least I'm coming back to town. I give up. There's no gas station that I can find. Came to a dead end. Back to the supermarket. We'll go to the tender and do what we should have done in the first place. gas the tender up, fill up the container. Anyway, I got out of doing the shopping, so it's not all bad. And we won the first 2 races of the America's Cup. All in all, a good day. Look what I found. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Almost back to where I started from. Far out. Success. Mission accomplished. Haha. Well done, Mark. Well done, Mark. I went back to talk to the lady who gave me the directions, and she said, did you find it? And I said, no. I went right at the end here. Straight away she cut it and said, I said left. I said, you said right. She said left, then left. No, left, then right. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, she thinks she was right. I think I was right. We have to agree to differ. That is where I should have gone.
Oh, of course.
The on-wharf petrol station. It could have filled the boat up and filled the can up.
Oh, yeah. Marky.
What kind of plonker am I?
Are you?
How's that, sweetie?
Right, go, mate.
Pretty cool. Right,